Talking about politics in the 19th century, Europe's government during the 19th century were very different compared to what we can see today. The French Revolution was able to impact most of the continent. Colonies started to have a period of change. That's when democracy started to emerge in countries. But still, there were some differences within each country. In Britain, democracy was kind of mixed. Reform acts turned out to be landmarks on the road to democracy. By the end of the 19th century, Britain was established as a parliamentary democracy under a monarchy.
The known Napoleonic Wars lasted from 1803 to 1815. These wars were a continuation of the conflicts left on the French Revolution. These events happened when after the Treaty of Amiens ended and when Napoleon became powerful in France. The conflict began between the United Kingdom and France in 1803. In France, there were many changes and effects from the wars. All the French military and the military systems were changed. Thanks to this event, France became very powerful so fast and conquered most of Europe. After this, there were many mistakes from Napoleon Bonaparte and lost them quickly. After the Battle of Waterloo, which Napoleon lost on November 20, 1985, the Napoleonic Wars finally ended.
How did the Napoleonic Wars affected the rest of Europe?
Well, since the Napoleonic Wars caused a lot of casualties, the rest of Europe decided to prepare in case of having a confrontation with these forces. So they improved its military force. So I consider that the Napoleonic Wars helped the rest of Europe develop a stronger military force.
Congress of Vienna, 1814 to 1815. The Congress of Vienna was an assembly or meeting in Austria of various European countries to reorganize Europe after Napoleon's reign. This Congress started in September 1814 and ended when Napoleon was defeated in June 1815. There, they reorganized the territories and accorded that peace should be established. Great Britain, Prussia, Austria, and Russia were the world powers that summoned and gathered other European countries, supporting and promoting equality and progress among the nations.
The German unification was a process from 1841 to 1870, in which Germany's Democratic Republic and the Federal Republic of Germany were unified. In this process, Berlin became one city, and Prussia allied with Germany to protect them from France. Otto von Bismarck was the prime minister from Prussia, and he led the successful attempt to unify Germany through blood and iron and real political skills. The blood and iron were a speech given by Bismarck about the unification of Germany. The unification of Italy was from 1848 to 1871. It was a movement also known as Risorgimento, which is resurgence, that consolidated different states of Italy. First, Giuseppe Mazzini, an Italian politician, and his pupil Giuseppe Garibaldi, an Italian general, attempted to unify Italy by democracy and failed. Camillo di Cavour, the Prime Minister of Sardinia, finally could unify Italy with the tools of realpolitik under the crown of Sardinia.
The Crimean War between 1853 and 1856. The Crimean War involved an alliance between France, Britain, Turkey, and Sardinia against Russia. Turkey initiated a war because Russia was expanding into the Danube region, which is now known as Romania. It was under Turkish control. Britain and France feared that Russia would later try to expand into their territory, so they get involved also. It was fought in the Black Sea. Russia dropped out after all the military and political pressure. Still, France and Britain wanted to destroy the naval power from Russia in the Black Sea, thus leading to three main battles: the Battle of Alma on September 1854, Battle of Balaclava on October, and Russian strike on November. Russia backed down in 1856, and the Treaty of Paris was signed. How many casualties were there in the Crimean War?
Well, in the Crimean War, there were a lot of casualties. For starters, we have 450,000 deaths in Russia, about 21,000 deaths in Britain, and most of them by disease, but we also count them 95,000 deaths in France.
After the independence of these two countries, the emperors joined both of their countries to start a dual monarchy. The conditions of these deals were both of the countries will share the military power, naval affairs, and finance ministry. Hungary really wanted to have an identical status of the Australian Empire. Both the Emperor of Australia and the King of Hungary ruled the state.
The independence of Norway defines the dissolution between the Union of Norway and Sweden. After Norwegians' independence, Danish prince ascended to the throne. With the signing of the new constitution, it established the dissolution of Norway and Sweden. On May 17, 1905, is considered the Independence Day in Norway, which is actually the Norway's Constitution Day.
Miss Condor, what is imperialism to you?
It was a necessary force that Europe had to apply to get what they needed. The Industrial Revolution changed so much how the economies work at the time that imperialism was the only way that these countries knew how to solve their lack of resources.
How did imperialism affect Europe in late 19th century?
Well, it did change all the geopolitics situation they had. In the end, they did need to cooperate with other countries, but they had to sacrifice Africa and Asia in order to get what they needed. So it did create cooperation among them, but then it made them natural enemies to the rest of the world.
How was the imperialism of Europe different from the one of other continents? How were they the same?
Well, the European imperialism was much more aggressive. The United States did intervene and can be considered an imperialistic force, but at least they tried to hide a bit more their intentions and did not try to control entirely what happened to the rest of the world. And the only imperialistic force that occurred, maybe we could say that it was Japan. But other than that, all the imperialistic forces came from Europe.
In which ways can we see imperialism in today's Europe?
Well, you can see it by the merge in culture and traditions you have in these countries. For example, if you go to London, you will get to see a huge Indian community living there, and a fusion between their cuisine and their traditions. Everything is intertwined because of this connection.
What was the main cause of imperialism?
The main cause, economic needs, in my opinion.
Which event led the way for imperialism and why?
I'd say perhaps the Belgium intervention in Congo. When Europe got to see that it was easy for them to conquer the rest of the world, that was it.
That's perfect.
Thanks.
Thank you.